forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack make it backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the vital speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the bay.
With that being said, like Tangie might have been the hardest in the hood, and they had real hard certified niggas that could fight, niggas that could shoot, niggas that could do all that. But Tangie just was like, you know, she just it ain't had nothing to do with harming people. It was just thug life.
In mid-August of 2020, the Baton Rouge Police Department would announce the arrest in a decade-long cold case murder of a 37-year-old woman. Early in the day, the murder would take place at 9:30 a.m. at the Service Market grocery store in Old South Baton Rouge, in something sounding like the opening or closing scene of a gangster movie. According to witnesses at the scene, the shooter would pull up firing from the bed of a light brown 1990s style pickup truck. Witnesses would further say that the masked gunman would aim at the woman and begin firing. During the course of the shooting, another man would be shot and another person would be wounded. But the Baton Rouge Police Department believed that the woman, Tangie Swanson, was the target of the shooting.
It appears some unnamed recent developments in a murder case will give a family a shot at justice. Police told us today that they've arrested Dexter Collins. He's accused of killing Tangie Swanson back some 12 years ago. This happened on East Boulevard.
After her murder, police would say that Swanson was no stranger to the Baton Rouge Police Department, as she had been arrested 3 months prior to her death on drug charges in May of 2008. During questioning, she had admitted to the police that she had been selling crack since being released from serving 6 years of a 10-year prison sentence for manslaughter.
Passed over, now you see that I was chasing a man. Posted on Maryland, me and Bunny's mama Tangie Swanson. His mama Tangie Swanson. His mama Tangie Swanson.
That's the story. But it was crazy to hear how this young teenage girl was out there catching bodies. One of which he said she stabbed somebody at a party to death. Like, have you ever heard of girls being like this?
Yeah.
Really? Multiple murders.
Yeah. Tangie Swanson.
Who's that?
She was like that.
She's from Baton Rouge?
Yeah.
You knew her personally?
I knew her from seeing her around and hollering at her. What up, Boosie? You know. Yeah.
She pretty?
Nah, she wasn't really pretty. I mean, she wasn't ugly, but she wasn't really pretty.
Okay.
She was a gangster.
How many people did she allegedly kill?
I don't know.
Is she alive still?
Nah, they killed her.
According to one of the very few interviews I even seen discussing her mother, Sandra Swanson, was described as one of the first female kingpins of Baton Rouge. They would also explain how Tangie Swanson would come from a semi-large family, and she would actually graduate from the same high school that Boosie attended, McKinley High. And when he would mention her in one of his many Vlad interviews just a few months back, my inbox would flood with requests to cover her, possibly based on how he would describe her when comparing her to K.I. from Chicago. Online, she is described as a semi-serial killer with nobody willing to estimate the number of lives she might have taken. But during my research, I found evidence of 2 deaths that she was linked to, including the 2001 manslaughter of her girlfriend's 2-year-old daughter, who was found dead in a bathtub from blunt force trauma to the abdomen, officials would say. In an interview done with Check 'Em Out TV about 6 months before the Boosie and Vlad interview, a Detroit native who moved to Baton Rouge and would spend a lot of time in the area where Tangie Swanson was said to be from, in the apartments on 17th Street in Spain. Big Head was seen to explain her conviction in that case when speaking on her.
I feel like she didn't deserve that. Like Tangie went to jail one time for something that she didn't even do, or she didn't do to the extent to what they said happened, but it was just an unfortunate situation to where they had to blame it on someone, and they blamed it on her. And I was saying to myself, like, okay, I have seen her do a lot of gangster stuff and a lot of things, but I never, I know that this is not her, and I managed somehow to get in her heart, because it's hard for a gangster to show you love if they're a gangster, you know what I'm saying? But I managed some kind of way to get in her heart.
After serving 6 years of a 10-year sentence, Tangi would return to the streets of Baton Rouge. But just 2 years after her release from prison, she would become a victim herself of a person that the media would also describe as a semi-serial killer or a hitman, who was also responsible for the death of one of the top up-and-coming rappers from the city.
Back into the studio.
Thanks, Dr. Josh. A man accused of 3 different murders in Baton Rouge is free tonight.
He doesn't have to worry about bond obligations, ankle monitors, him with anyone on his whereabouts. Our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto, reports on why people in Baton Rouge should be a little more on edge tonight.
Michael Sylvia, Dexter Collins wasn't billed within 60 days of his arrest. That, combined with the lack of evidence to indict him, led the jail to open the gates and allow him to walk free. Dexter Collins has a rap sheet that includes multiple arrests for drugs, 3 different murders, and much, much more. But Collins was freed from jail on a technicality recently.
We believe that there's sufficient probable cause to base his arrest on those. Our review, which is a whole lot more detailed review, ours is based on a beyond a reasonable doubt standard, and now a 12-0 verdict that we face.
Despite there being probable cause, prosecutors didn't believe there was enough for a conviction. Collins never formally billed, so he was cut loose after filling out his own paperwork leading to his release. Collins mailed it certified from the East Baton Rouge Parish Jail. Investigators believe Collins was a hitman, responsible for 3 different murders, starting with the shooting death of Lorenzo Dixon in 2017. 5 months later that year, he was accused of killing David Walker on Seneca Street. Walker was a witness to a double murder less than 24 hours before he was murdered.
I feel that what was done to him was low down and dirty and was not right.
It was this shooting in the Bottoms that sparked retaliation and a concern from police 3 years ago.
We're going to saturate the area this afternoon because the community is reaching out to us for help, and we're going to do the best that we can to give them to protection.
While Collins was in custody for the murders in 2017, police charged him with the cold case murder of Tangie Swanson in 2008. Swanson was found shot to death outside of a store on East Boulevard. With 3 murders police say Collins committed,
there's evidence that there's not.
The district attorney says Collins was let go due to a lack of evidence that could lead to a conviction. The streets, quite possibly, a little more dangerous now.
I think everyone has to use caution wherever they are. You know who people, they know what goes on, the people do. And so we need help from the people. And so, sure, I think everyone should always be cautious, particularly dealing with someone they know.
District Attorney Hillard Moore says the murders Collins is accused of remain under investigation. If additional evidence comes forward, the case could go before a grand jury. For now, though, it's like those arrests never happened.
Her murder on August 14th, 2008 is believed to be retaliation for a homicide that happened just a month prior to her death in July of 2008. The victim in that case was a 33-year-old man by the name of Kevin Jab Collins, whose murder occurred on the 2500 block of Olander. His murder was exceptionally clear by authorities when police identified Tangie Swanson as the main suspect after her death, according to arrest reports. However, the report didn't provide any additional details about the alleged circumstances or the motives in that specific case. Now, y'all make sure y'all hit the red bell and subscribe button right under this video so y'all know when this real, trill, spill shit is dropping. Y'all hit the comment box below, run it up. Y'all let me know what cities we need to go to, what stories we need to tell, what we missed, what I got wrong, all of that. Hit me directly, Instagram, Twitter, POP_A_LOT. And until our next jug, it's Shay's Popalot. Salute the almighty mob.